We did it. We made it to episode 2. Nobody believed in us, but we believed in us. Here we are. Rough Fairways, Dirty to the PGA Tour. This is the Masters recap. Mike and I go over a few items here. We go over DJ's win, obviously. Tiger's 10 at number 12. The terrible Nike close gripping for the weekend. And much, much more. We'll hope you join us here on Rough Fairways, a journey to the PGA Tour. All right, we got a lot to unpack. Where do you want to start?
Oof. I mean, DJ won, finally.
Yeah. Well, why don't we start with the end? Did you see? I thought DJ was going to mark his ball. He just had the 6 inches. And then Im still had to putt out. And DJ was like, oh, I'm just going to go ahead and finish. And of course.
That's always weird to me. It's like, I guess maybe it was different because there wasn't a lot of people there, but you want like the last putt to be that guy so that everybody can cheer and just be done. But I think DJ is so in his own world and calm and cool that he just doesn't care for the formalities. He's like, oh, I'm here. I'm going to putt it. I'm going to make it. That's what I do.
It was super fitting to his personality, with a huge fist pump right afterwards. I just won the Masters.
Wow, that was a huge DJ fist pump, but it wasn't.
It was huge for him.
It wasn't a 2-step Tiger pump or anything.
No. And it was lackluster. I mean, for Augusta not allowing patrons, there were quite a bit of patrons on the 18th green. And I know most of them were media, photographers. And
a lot of members out there too, I think.
Yeah, members and everything. But it was kind of cool to see in a COVID world where you don't see anybody at golf tournaments. It was kind of cool to see just a little bit, circling the 18th green.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when what's his name? Kyle. Who won the PGA recently? My names are eluding me.
Oh, Colin.
Colin. Yeah. Wow, Kyle. Colin Marco. Yeah, like when he won, there was 4 people going, good job. There wasn't.
You hear that?
Right.
Yeah, good old golf clap.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, it's 4 months away, 5 months away for 2021 Masters. It'll be interesting to see what that's like. Hopefully, they have crowds back, but I'm sure they're going to still have lingering COVID effects.
Yeah, for sure. How about the voiceovers? One thing about the Masters is that it's the tradition. And they like the TV producers always try to build it up as much as they could. And Wright Thompson, who is one of my favorite writers, he's a sports writer, but he's just a great storyteller.
Yeah.
His voiceovers on Saturday were incredible. It made you feel that you were still watching a normal Masters.
Yeah, who was the guy on? Was it Friday? There was somebody doing hype pieces, and all I could think of was Rob Riggle.
Yeah,
on Sundays for football, always doing the goofy stuff. Yeah. It's making me laugh.
It is. It was nostalgic though for me, and we're about the same age. I'm 40.
We're not about the same age.
Well, you're a few years younger than me, but like the voices of Augusta, like it's going to be so sad when Lundqvist is too old to call it anymore.
Right. Did you see who was it? I think it was Sanjay M made a putt, and Vern didn't think he was going to make it, and he said, I forget what he said, but Nick Faldo was like, "Oh, is that your new yes, sir?" Because he just said something like, "Oh, I guess it's going in," or he said something funny.
Yeah.
And they all got a big crack.
I got sad when Ken Venturi retired, and when he obviously he passed away, but when he retired from the booth, it was him and Nance.
Yeah.
And you just get it's kind of like Joe Buck and Tim McCarver and Joe Morgan for baseball.
Yeah.
And I just became so accustomed to it. So, let's get to so Saturday. What I noticed at first was Bryson's wedge control was not that great. And if you're going to come in here and say Augusta is a par 67, and you're going to ultimately, if you play your game, you're going to be hitting wedges into these greens, you better well control your wedges. And he just wasn't doing it.
You think it was, I was talking to another friend of mine. You think that Bryson was smack talking, or do you just think he's so scientifically minded he was just giving his stats?
I just think he's so scientifically minded that he's like, it's a 67 to me. He did whatever calculations and
Right.
uh
This is what the math says.
theorems. This is what the math says that he should
Right.
birdie. In his mind, he was thinking every par five is a for sure birdie. I'm going to be on in two, so there's 4 birdies. I'll sprinkle in 1 birdie there, so there's my 5 birdies. Maybe I'll sprinkle in another couple, and then I'll account for a bogey here or two. Couple of stats. DJ, of course, no surprise here. 83% greens in regulation.
He hit every fairway on Saturday.
Hit every fairway on Saturday. But does that matter at Augusta?
I mean, it should.
I mean, we're stats driven. Golf is all about stats, but I guess Augusta's a second shot golf course. But I want to bring up something here that I found very intriguing. Dustin Johnson did not lead the par 5 scoring. Do you know who did?
Who'd you say that was? Oh yeah, Spieth.
Mr. Jordan Spieth.
And hey, Sunjay M, same.
So, yeah, he had 12 birdies on the par 5s only. Dustin only had 8. But here's where I think Dustin won the Masters, is on the par 3s.
Yeah. I didn't get to see a lot of shots from Jordan. I can't imagine he was making a lot of par 5s and 2. He's not the longest guy.
No, he's not. But so your par 3 birdie leaders were Justin Rose. He had 7 birdies on par 3s, but Dustin Johnson had 5.
Right.
And everybody talks about the par 5s at Augusta because they're so gettable. Number 2, 8, 13, 15. 13 and 15 are super, super easy holes. Well, to them, they should be. But then again, I guess there's that fairway stat that you got to be in the fairway to 13 to go for it in 2, and you got to be around the corner. I think Dustin won this Masters on the par 3s, as weird as that sounds.
Yeah. But he won by 5 shots. I think everything was just on point.
Yeah. There were mud balls everywhere. Why didn't they do lift, clean, and place? Is Augusta so?
I don't know. I was really surprised they didn't do lift, clean, and place, especially on like Thursday and Friday because of all the rain. I could see Sunday it should have dried out a little bit, but they had 4 straight days of rain leading up to the opening round.
Did you see that they were trying to avoid saying the word mud on air? Like all CBS crew, I think the Augusta comedians, it took them, by the throats and be like, "Hey, we can't say mud here." Honestly, right. Dottie Pepper, organic matter on the ball on 10, soil, the earth is on the ball. It's just.
You think they were just running out of ways to say mud ball and they just wanted to start being cute about it? Or?
It's great. Dottie's great.
Yeah. So Bryson, you think failed execution or wrong game plan for Masters?
Well, I think his game plan's fine. It's just I think his game plan is the same thing on any course. Just hit it as far as I can and hit it as close as I can.
I did feel bad he lost that ball when he was 5-6 yards off the fairway. He just plugged and he couldn't find it.
Yeah, but obviously he didn't execute too. But
right.
That's always going to be part of it. I think he overthought Augusta, and Dustin Johnson doesn't think about anything. He just goes out there and plays golf, and in the most boring player on tour wins the most boring Masters that we've had.
Yeah, it's
it's super
summation.
Fitting. Yeah, it's super fitting. It did.
How about? No, go ahead.
It got squirrely, I thought, a little bit early when he got a little chunky.
Yeah.
On 2 with his third shot, he chipped it in the bunker. And then we're thinking all the way back to the U.S. Open collapse. And then Sungjae Im's short game, man, like his chip from the rough on 5 that just stopped on a dime.
Yeah.
His approach on 3 and then his chip on 6. Really, really good. And he's a rookie.
Yeah, there was a lot of really impressive golf. For a while, I was really Abraham Ancer was just playing lights out. Didn't have a great Sunday, but his iron game yesterday was fantastic. Boy, Rory doesn't shoot a 75 on Thursday, and we got a much more exciting Sunday. Rory goes out and shoots, 69, 70, and he's right there with DJ on Sunday.
I think Rory's been wanting this so much that he tries so hard in the first round. And then when he maybe shoots
Now, did you see first round, like because of the mix up in tee times or shift in tee times, he had like 20 minutes to warm up or something?
and went around and shot 65 in the second round.
Right.
Yeah. Which means, like, what happened? Honestly, what happened from the opening tee shot on number one to the opening tee shot on number one in the same day?
Yeah. That was crazy too. It was weird getting up, having to finish a round and then go play another 18, and I'm sure that was unusual, especially
typically that's good when you're playing great, but when you're playing bad, you take that 20 minutes and you're like, I just want to be done.
Yeah.
I think there's 3 holes at Augusta that if Rory never wins, he'll look back at number 10, number 11, and number 13 as ones that he never truly felt comfortable on the tee.
Yeah.
And he 13 and 10 are perfect for his draw. But if he's not trusting it, he's either going to snap it into the woods or block it.
Yep.
And 11 actually calls for it calls for a fade, unless you're Sung J M and you just hit like this 1 yard perfect draw when he needs to, but his natural shot is a cut. But I think those 3 holes just do Rory in. You remember when he shot 80? He was super young. I forget what year it was, but he shot 81, and it was the cabin year on number 10 where he hooked it so far that you would see the homes on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
And I was, oh gosh, I think I was early, maybe late 20s, but I didn't even know that there were homes over there. He was so far left.
Getting his money worth.
Yeah, and it's just like Spieth at 12. Spieth is always going to have demons there, so I really wonder if those demons set in, even with Rory. And I've done a 180 with Rory. I used to be super critical of his swag. I thought he was a little too cocky.
Yeah.
And now he's so good for the game. He really is.
Speaking of 12, Tiger.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, great stat on that though.
What's the stat?
So Bubba Watson wins the Masters. Next
year
I
saw that.
Cards at 10 on 12. The next year he wins the Masters. Could we be seeing a Tiger green jacket in 21?
That stat brought to you by Justin Ray. Oh my gosh. So I saw him hit it into the water, and I'm like, well, he wasn't going to contend anyways. And then I said, all right, I'm jumping in the shower.
Yeah.
Came back. I had 6 notifications, probably a few texts from you on Twitter, and I look at it, and then I see, wow, Tiger 10, and I'm like, wait, what? 10? What does that even mean? And lo and behold, I watched the highlights, and there you have it. I like how he said
in the water.
He was talking to Amanda Balionis afterwards, and he said, I committed to the wrong wind.
Yeah.
I mean, that's such a Tiger excuse. It really is.
Yeah, but that's a shallow green. I mean,
I know the wind is always a topic of discussion on that hole, but it was just so Tiger. It really was.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, here's a great Rory stat. He only had 2 bogeys in 54 holes after the opening round for Rory. That's it.
That damn 75.
It's one round that's going to separate him from either finally getting it or just ultimately never getting it.
He'll be really great on the Champions Tour with their 3-round tournaments then.
Yeah, that's true. And then DJ only had 4 bogeys all week. 4 bogeys.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the bogey avoidance stat is at Augusta, but I mean, if you only make that many, you're gonna win almost at 90%. I mean, so Cameron Smith, they finished 15 under.
15 under, all 4 rounds in the 60s, first time ever, 5
Yeah.
strokes off the lead.
To never, and he doesn't win. I mean, any other year, if DJ falls down the stairs on Wednesday night, then Cameron Smith's
Yeah.
your winner.
Oh, that mustache though.
Oh, the stash, so good. Did you hear
No,
Faldo? Faldo's
I
like,
don't.
yeah, he's trying to grow a beard.
Well, the funny thing was, you really couldn't tell how little facial hair he can grow until he was in the cabin with Amanda, because you just can barely tell he's got a stash going. But then they zoom in the cabin, and you're like, oh, he's just got a couple little
Oh,
patches.
but even the stash is so like patchy. He's got like this
Patchy, yeah.
long hair coming
I
down.
think he was
Probably
working on that for a
floss with it.
while.
Yeah.
But he played well.
But look at it. Look at guys that don't hit it far. Look at the answer.
Yeah.
Gosh, is Augusta becoming? I mean, of course, when Tiger killed it in '97, and then they needed to tiger-proof it. They took out the Eisenhower tree,
Right.
and made it longer. And granted, it is a little bit longer, but guys, every year that you don't expect to contend at Augusta, rookies, guys that don't hit it hard or far, they're just contending. So golf is just so tough to really predict who's going to play well each week and ultimately win.
How about Bernhard Langer? Oldest to make the cut, played better than Bryson.
He beat Bryson, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. When they interviewed Bryson after the round after the cut, he said a few things that made it sound very disingenuous. Because he brought up I feel dizzy, my head hurts, and his stomach ached or something. What did you make of that?
I mean, knowing Bryson, though, that was the scientific reason for whatever his problem was. He seems like the guy. I mean, I think he comes across as arrogant, but at the same time, too, I love that he does his own thing. He's not doing
me
anything.
too.
I mean, who was that? They said Tiger walked up to him and said, "Don't listen to anybody else. Just do what you're doing."
Yeah, it was good. To me, it just sounded a little disingenuous, and I think that's why people hate him. A buddy of mine who is a total hack. He doesn't really know what he's doing, but he's very smart and he's very astute. He sent me these texts. He goes, if you have a problem with and you got a problem with DJ, then you're a lemming. And I'm like, yeah, because he's like the OG of distance. Tiger was the first guy to make the long ball cool. And then Dustin comes along and he's always been known as a long hitter, but nobody ever truly was like, oh, I don't like Dustin because he hits it so far.
Yeah, and I think
how Bryson is going about it.
I think that's
how it is.
Yeah, I mean, DJ he's tall, lengthy, and just has tons of mechanical advantage in the golf swing. And Bryson was always methodical, and then he just threw 50 pounds of muscle on top of his methodical to get the same distance. So, yeah, I can see how people. I mean, I see it differently. I don't see it as bad for the game, but
I don't. I'm not saying it's bad for the game. I just think it's weird that people are criticizing length,
right?
But they're not criticizing everybody who hits it a mile. Justin Thomas is 5'9" and $160. So is Rory.
Right.
But are people, chastising him for wanting to improve his game? No.
Yeah, I think they're just chastising Bryson because he's talking about it. Because this is my goal. Everybody else this is just what I am. I mean, and that's what's funny too is you look at the driving leaders. They're not like 40 yards ahead of everybody else. They may be on a couple of great shots, but average distance is 5-6 yards. So I don't know. I think it's just a bunch of people with too much time on their hands that want to complain about stuff. I love it. I think you should reward people who are going to put in the time and effort to find a way to play the best golf they can.
Totally agree. Yeah. I just think it's a bummer that and I say we, the media, try to, we want to be, we have to find that scapegoat. I think everybody got sick and tired of, well, Patrick Reed, he's a cheater, so we know that. So who's going to be the next person that we pick on?
Yeah, I mean, people do it in all kinds of sports. Like baseball, everybody's ripped these days. We understand the human body and biomechanics better, and they're hitting monster home runs, and all of a sudden, the baseball's juiced.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, 10 years ago, we didn't have anybody throwing 100 miles an hour. Now everybody throws 100 miles an hour. So people just want to, I think people grew up with a certain idea of, this is what golf was to me, and now it's not the same game. And they long for the days of their youth.
All right. Gosh, what else? I thought it was no patrons really got me. It really did. And I've watched almost every golf tournament this year with no patrons, and it sucks because golf is. I think the galleries add something to it, especially for our viewing pleasure, and of course for the players. I mean, but the Masters, I just thought it was real. I thought it was kind of boring.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed watching it, but it was definitely the most impacted I've been with having no fans. I was curious too through the whole COVID thing. Would people play marginally worse because they didn't have a gallery to have the hit their ball into, and
or marginally better? I thought Rory would love that. No added pressure, no patrons. Hey, I'm just going to go out and win this thing. But it's fitting that DJ won.
Yeah, I did it. I really loved that we finally got to a point where DJ was at a loss for words.
Yeah.
All the other tournaments.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
All the other tournaments, you could tell he was happy, but he was DJ happy. He was like, "Yeah, this is great. It was a good round."
Yeah.
And finally, he couldn't find the words, and I thought that was great.
Something to him.
Yeah.
I saw that clip with him and Amanda on the green, and he couldn't. He said 5 words in like a minute 40. It was so good.
Yeah. I think Amanda did a good job of realizing it was time to. This is as good as we're going to get out of DJ. Just let's let him have his moment. And threw it back to the tower.
Amanda handled it really, really great. So that's it for majors this year. Obviously, we go back to Augusta in 5 months. I don't know if I'm going to watch any more golf this year. I know that we have our silly wraparound season, and then they all come out to Maui for the Century Tournament of Champions, but I don't know. Well,
you're lucky to have the weather at least still. You can go play. The rest of us have to watch it on YouTube.
Yeah, but that's something I kind of miss almost taking that break from golf. Like November, you're just going to hang them up until January or February. And people listening to this would probably be like, you're a golfer. Why do you want to hang up your sticks for 3 months? I don't know. I like that first feeling of March where you can get outside and wear a hoodie and shorts when it's 45 degrees and you feel warm. You're like, oh my God.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, you're sad. I'm sad now it's freezing cold outside. I'm sad to hang them up, but then you think about the excitement building up to a warm enough day in late winter, early spring. Yeah. Guess it makes you appreciate it when you come back to it. Although I hate having to spend 2 or 3 months getting the feel back and learning how to play again.
Yeah, it does take a little bit, but all right, finally, we can't not talk about the Masters, and we cannot not forget to speak about the Nike scripting.
Oh man, who was I think Faldo said? Who was that? Paul Casey fell asleep with a Sharpie or something like that.
I like Nike. I don't wear Nike, but I mean it's a great brand, of course. But gosh, who I want to meet the person who thinks of these colors and or scripts for each day to just say all my Nike players head out there. Fino looked terrible. It was this neon marker.
Yeah.
And Paul Casey actually changed his shirt on Thursday. And it was just like people on Twitter were like, what is going on? He actually changed it to a normal white t-shirt.
I kind of like it. Sometimes I think they're going for kind of some of that 80s spatial design, but I like it sometimes, but other times, yeah. Who was it? Matsuyama. I thought he was in the barbershop quartet all weekend. He was wearing the vertical
Yeah,
stripes.
yeah. And then you had Fleetwood with the horizontal ones. He looked like the Hamburglar.
Yeah.
The only Nike athlete that does not typically go on brand and wear their scripting is Tiger Woods. He didn't wear any of their scripting.
Yeah, he always just has it.
But that's
standard.
normal.
That's Tiger. I mean,
yeah, you're not going to tell him to wear a fuchsia shirt on Sunday like Brooks and Rory did today. But Rory doing the matching the hat and the shirt color, boy, that's like old Retief Goosen.
Man. What happened to the days of Jesper Parnevik and old Dean Poulter?
Or I saw a tweet today from the No Laying Up boys that said, tell me Cam Smith is not from the 1970s with his stash, just the dirty, greasy hair coming out.
He reminded me of a young Ricky Fowler when he used to have the long hair and the stash too. Ricky pulled it off better, but I wasn't a fan of that either.
Ricky, yeah. Well, Ricky went through the 21-year-old kid phase, and he had his long skater hair.
Yeah.
When he first started with Puma. And God, what happened to Ricky? I mean, I know he's going through a swing change and everything, but man, he kind of played well this week, but it wasn't a storyline.
Yeah. I think it was hard to get a storyline anywhere because of the split tee times, the later group finishing up the next day. It was really hard to have a storyline for this Masters. It was just watch as much golf as you can and check the leaderboard.
But were they going to do the split tees no matter what, even if it did not rain?
I don't know. I think they've been talking about it for a while, so I think they were doing the split tees.
Yeah.
I was surprised I guess it's because it's later in the year. Maybe it's less daylight than springtime, but I was surprised how early everything started.
Yeah.
Today.
Well, no, they had to do it for sure. They lost 2 hours with daylight savings time.
Right.
I mean, in sunlight, meaning obviously I know it's only roll back 1 hour, but
yeah,
in daylight,
I'm just used to waking up at 10, 11 my time to start my day, and I woke up at 8 o'clock and DJ was 3 or 4 holes in.
Oh yeah. Well, shoot, imagine me. I'm waking up at 5 a.m. every day for the Masters. Yeah, I don't know. It was okay for me. I thought it was.
I think it was great golf. I just think, given the circumstances, from a presentation standpoint, it was hard for it to be a great Masters to watch on TV.
It was good golf. I thought the course played easier, obviously.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what it's gonna be like to compare, April to November. The greens were pretty brown. I'm sure Augusta heads did not like to see that, but it's November.
Yeah. You think, I'm sure DJ is the odds-on favorite. You think he repeats?
Nah. When's the last repeat? Was it Faldo? 89, 90?
No, it's Tiger back-to-back.
Oh, yeah. 01, 02. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think somebody new wins it. I mean,
I think he's just playing so stupid well right now.
Well, 5 months though.
Yeah.
Or will he care? Like, does he say he's got his U.S. Open, he's got his Masters? Is he going to go for the Grand Slam or just say, I'm good, do?
Who knows? All
right, next week for the actual show, Kevin Anderson from Apple Tree Resort, PGA head professional there. He's actually Max's
coach.
Coach Max Sternquist's coach will be joining us on the pod next week. So tune in there. Okay, let's get out of here.
All right, dude. See ya.
Okay, see ya.
Rough Fairways is executive produced by Eddie Dunn and Mike Sells. As always, thank you for listening with us. This is going to be a fun journey as we explore all these minds of these players and what they go through to make it onto the PGA Tour. We hope you enjoyed the Masters. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you next week. And please remember, let's be kind to each other.